procrastination bites people from every walk of life, and it's been responsible for lost jobs and things that are a lot more important than, I didn't do the homework assignment. So it's important that people need to work on procrastination starting from a young age. One thing I would say is, don't say I'll do it in 10 minutes because that's like practicing procrastination. Learning how to start something is a key part of this.
Every decision you've made has been now. This moment right now is when you make the choice, is when you make the decision. If you're going to put off making the decision till later, you won't make the decision. Being now is when you're most powerful, when you've had your best ideas, when you've accomplished something that you didn't think you were able to accomplish. It was simply because you forgot about trying to get it done and you just got into the process of being in that present moment. That now moment is your chance, it's your opportunity to decide. This is going to be the time that I move forward from here. When we get into a car, we look at the windshield, it's bigger than the rearview mirror. You've got to be determined that your present state is going to lead you to where you want to be down the road and forward.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about also what you said about failure. My kids failed their black belt test, brown belt test. They didn't get their stripe, they didn't get their belt. And I think that's part of what is making them successful now, which is they know that they failed and they had to figure out how to go back to karate, after failing to kick those boards and failing to get that black belt. It's hard to go back, and they learned to keep going. Building persistence is probably the number one challenge for somebody with ADHD, but it's the number one most important thing that they need to do as a kid, or that they need to do as a person. So learning how to keep going and to keep going despite difficulties and failures, that is something that helps with focus, helps with ADHD in terms of outcomes. And again, that's something where the electronics are not that helpful. They're just too easy for too many people. And they don't build persistence. I mean, of course, people can persist on Fortnite, but Fortnite makes it very easy for you to do that. I'm talking about persisting on something that's difficult, and that is something that is the number one thing that's the most correlated with a good outcome. I mean, far beyond intelligence, far beyond SAT scores or any other measurement, if you can keep persisting and build what they call grit, you get stuff done no matter what. And people with ADHD are among the most successful people in our society if they have the grit, if they know how to get things done, if they stay with something and finish it.
Great quote. Persistence is what turns your impossible into your possible.
Yeah, because that's where ADHD can be a huge strength. ADHD people are creative, bright. They think of things in different ways. They can see the whole field and figure out what the next step is, and boom, fast. There's some great stuff about ADHD. Yesterday I told you I was in Salt Lake City and we were talking about athletes and ADHD, and one of the things we talked about is, does ADHD help somebody become a better athlete? And I think it probably does, depending on it might depend a little bit on the sport. But, if Steph Curry was too focused, he'd dribble down the court and he would just see the one person he wanted to pass to, and he wouldn't see the field. Steph Curry, as far as I know, doesn't think in an ADHD way, but he needs to use that kind of whole field vision, but he also needs to be able to focus on one thing when he's shooting a free throw. He's not looking around to see which of his teammates might get it should it miss, which it won't. So It's different kinds of thinking, but if you can control the thinking, that's the best. I mean, that's how you get a good outcome, is by deciding what to focus on and when.